Hey, Todd, we're going to start in just a moment. Eli should be joining the room any second. Oh,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Music News Power Hour, brought to you by Music Industry City Broadcast Network. We are here each and every weekday at noon Eastern. Join us on stream by visiting our website, where you can also follow along with today's headlines and read more about the headlines that we've covered throughout the week. By visiting our website, you can also register for free. Lots of free content on our website, very important for musicians. Visit our website for the stream, our headlines, and more. That's musicindustrycity.com. Be sure to ping your friends into the room. Your friends and you can all join the discussion by using the hand raise icon at the bottom of the room, or you can ping your friends with the plus sign to let them join the discussion. If you are joining us on our video stream chat, you can chime in the chat with comments and questions. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be starting our broadcast here shortly. Welcome to the show. We begin our countdown.
it's Wednesday. It's Thursday, the 8th of July, and this is the Music News Power Hour on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. I'm Peter Schwing, and please join me in welcoming Eli, my co-host, and, well, I was going to say Angela, but she has the day off. So, Eli, how you doing?
Angela Randall has the day off, so I will say cheerio on behalf of Angela. It's great to see you, Peter, and thanks everyone for joining us today.
Right on. Great to see you. All right. In today's news, Shamrock raises 196 million to loan to the music industry. RocNation moving into VR. IMPALA and IAO propose new EU pass. Danish festivals team up with Live Nation. And is the album concept dead? Also, as always, our Spotify update. These stories coming up. But first, let's take a look at this day in music history with Eli Window. Eli.
All right, let's take a look at this day in music history. We remember from this date in 1997, Weezer fan club founders Mikkel Allen and her sister Carly, who both died along with her younger sister Trista in a car accident in Colorado on the way back from one of the band's shows. The girls were later honored through many tribute songs, including Weezer's Mikkel and Carly and Jimmy Eat World's Hear You Me in memory. Moving on, birthdays today. Born on this date, 1960, Andy Fletcher, bass synth with English electronic band Depeche Mode. Born on this date, 1961, country music singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor Toby Keith. Born this date, July 8th, 1961, Graham Jones, guitar of Haircut 100. Born July 8th, 1963, American singer, songwriter Joan Osborne. Born July 8th, 1970, American singer songwriter, producer, and multi instrumentalist Beck. Happy birthday. And born this date, 1985, Jamie Cook, guitarist with English rock band Arctic Monkeys. Happy birthday. Moving on to this day in music history. On this date, 1958, the first gold record album presented by the Recording Industry Association of America was awarded to the soundtrack LP Oklahoma. The honor signified that the album had reached $1 million in sales. The first gold single issued by the RIAA was Catch a Falling Star by Perry Como in March of 1958. A gold single represented sales of 1 million records. Excellent day in music history. And on this date, 1967, the Monkees began a 29-date tour with the Jimi Hendrix Experience as a support act. Hendrix was dropped after 6 shows after being told his act was not suitable for the Monkees' teeny bopper audience. And on this date, 2007, Prince was forced off the stage by police halfway through his set at the First Avenue nightclub during a late night gig in his hometown of Minneapolis. The club was only allowed to stay open until 3 a.m., but Prince took the stage at about 2:45 a.m. The singer had already played 2 concerts in Minneapolis before his late night club appearance. His first performance was at a department store where he promoted his new cologne with a 9 song, 45-minute set. What a crazy day in music history, a triple header day for Prince, and he was escorted out on his third late night gig that evening.
I know. I mean, talk about it like dedication and just keep going. I love that. So, just want to say hi to everybody again that is tuning in Green Room and also in our live stream. If you post something in the comments, we're going to see it, and we will get back to. We'll read it out on. We'll read it out live here on the show. We answer any questions if you have any comments during the reads and any topics. We're going to also end up with the thought piece today about is our record albums dead. And, I think we kind of have an answer for that, but we'll see what everybody else's thoughts are. All right, so let's start off. This is where we summarize the most essential news in the fast-paced music industry. To set the stage for the roundtable conversation, we begin by reading key pieces of media pieces. If you'd like to provide commentary on one of today's topics, request to join the stage or leave a comment in the chat. To stay up to date on this and other programming, you can register free at musicindustrycity.com to obtain access to exclusive content. And one more thing is for our musicindustrycity.com residents, if you are registered there, you could click on that graphic that says join the chat. And we have the chat discussion and online on the website. So we have a forum and you can actually watch the video if you want. So the video live stream goes right to the website. So if you go to our show notes, you can also access that link and you just have to sign in. And with that being said, let's get to it. All right, and this first one is from musicbusinessworldwide.com. To access all the articles mentioned in today's show and throughout the week, visit musicindustrycity.com and click on the show notes graphic. Shamrock just raised $196 million to loan music and entertainment rights holders money. Shamrock Capital, a U.S.-based investment corporation, is best known in music for acquiring blockbuster entertainment copyrights, including Taylor Swift's first 6 albums, which it purchased for about $300 million in November. It is now providing music right holders with an alternative to selling their rights. Shamrock has stated that it has created a new $196 million fund to provide loan structures to IP owners. For example, advance right holders monies that they then return with interest through future revenues. The Shamrock Capital Debt Opportunities Fund says Shamrock will be used to rights holders across film, television, music, games, sports, and media, as well as other content sectors. As a result, Shamrock now has the potential to provide music right holders with 2 options for cashing in on their rights: a sale or part sale of their portfolio or loan against future earnings. The announcement comes less than a month after Shamrock closed a separate $1 billion growth fund, and that's called the Shamrock Capital Growth Fund 5, which it is utilizing to acquire entertainment intellectual property and make equity investments. Shamrock claims to have received funding from a group of major pension funds, charities, and financial institutions. Seems like every week we have another hypnosis acquisition and some other funding. So it's all turning into these capital and investment funds. We'll see how this shakes out.
The year of acquisitions.
Yeah, exactly. It's we should just tally. We're gonna have to tally. I think it was yesterday we reported on the Music Business Worldwide article about hypnosis. I think it was 86 catalogs or 84 catalogs they acquired in the last year. All right, so Stream Ripper hits back a court order over user data. We talked about this one last week, and from that lawsuit, and the Stream Ripper is hitting back. The Russian operator of stream ripping sites FLVTO and Tucom have reacted to a court order granted last month addressing the storing and sharing of user data as part of its continuing legal structure with major record labels in the United States. He claims that the court order will cost him thousands of dollars in new expenses, as well as placing him at risk of violating data protection regulations in some countries and putting his users at risk of having records of their online behavior confiscated by the Russian government. However, the owners of some streaming rip platforms such as FLTVO and Tucom operator Tofik Kurbanov have stayed firm. He argues that simply tracking the YouTube links entered into his stream rip sites would take up around 92.5 gigabytes of storage space each day, which amounts to about 2.7 terabytes of storage each month. In either case, Kurbanov claims, quote, this would result in thousands of dollars a year in storage charges. And then there's the problem that 90% of his site's users aren't from the United States, but their data would have to be preserved as well. The art states, quote, Mr. Kurbanov also appreciates the privacy of website users and believes that retaining and preserving access logs or records of the URLs that were transformed may jeopardize the privacy of website users in the latest legal complaint. Jay-Z's RocNation makes VR move with purchase of Senso tokens from $100 million backed Sensorium Corporation. Sensorium Galaxy, the yet-to-be-released social VR platform owned by $100 million backed Sensorium Corporation, was launched in 2018 by Russian billionaire Mikhail Prokhorov. Senso tokens are the on-platform Ethereum-based currency of Sensorium Galaxy. They did not. The acquisition price has not been disclosed, but the purchase of the Senso tokens by RocNation follows the announcement last August that Tidal, which Jay-Z sold to Jack Dorsey in April, spent $7 million on Senso tokens. Sensorium Galaxy is billed as, quote, the world's most advanced social VR platform, and users will be needed to utilize Senso in order to access VR shows. Sensorium Galaxy is made up of several virtual worlds, each with its own set of content. Among the first performers confirmed for the Prism world are David Guetta, Carl Cox, Armin van Buuren, and Black Coffee. The company says it expects that by the end of 2022, more than 1.8 million people will have used Senso tokens to access VR content on the Sensorium Galaxy. Senso, like in-game currency, is used for all value exchanges inside the ecosystem. These tokens are used by participants to gain access to artists' concerts on the platform, subscribe to premium content, modify their avatars, upgrade features, issue NFTs, and carry out other actions. So going back when we were like, what's up with this Tidal, Jack Dorsey, Stripe? What is this all about? And I think we jokingly said it just looks good to have Jay-Z on the board. Now we're seeing that there is more to it. I mean, when you talk about, they spent $7 million on Senso tokens back in August. Okay. So these are things that are all tying everything together, and we're going to see how this slowly unpacks. So I think this is going to be really cool, because being able to tie in that ecosystem, and if we can get, VR into gaming, into music, into exclusive content and Tidal, I think they have a really interesting roadmap that they could do something. It's further. It's moving away further and further from just saying that, oh, it was some money play, or it was just some posturing. It's now starting to see like this is they have a big plan for this, of tying in all these ecosystems, and then NFTs. This is all going to be a real interesting rollout over the next 12 to 18 months. Let's go and check in with Eli.
All right, let's check in with me, and don't forget to check in with your friends. You can use the plus sign at the bottom of the room to ping your friends into the room. You can also use the hand raise icon at the bottom of the room if you have a question or want to join the discussion about any of our headlines today. If you're joining us on our video chat, you can also chime in the chat and let us know your comments and questions. And hello to all of our viewers on the chat today. Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening and you'd like to be watching, don't forget you can visit our website to join us on a video stream. You can also visit our website if you'd like to follow along with our headlines daily, and register for free on our website for all kinds of exciting content. Our website is musicindustrycity.com, and we here at the Music News Power Hour join it each and every weekday at 12 Eastern. So we hope that you will join us as well. Moving on with our headlines today, we see that IMPALA and IAO proposed a new pass that would remove bureaucratic barriers for touring artists across Europe. Very important for our friends in the live sector across the pond in the UK. So Peter, over to you with more on this headline.
All right, I'll fill in for our UK correspondent. So this Impala and IO propose new pass, and hopefully this will make it easier for people to tour through the EU. So Impala, the Pan-European Trade Organization for the Independent Music Sector, and the International Artists Organization have joined forces to fight for a new system across Europe that would remove some of the restrictions that impede touring activity. The two organizations are proposing the introduction of a GECAT pass, or a pass that facilitates geographical European cultural area touring. I'm just going to stick to saying GCAT. In order to reduce both of the costs and administrative constraints for artists touring around Europe, according to Impala and IO, the idea, quote, involves creating a new cultural area with a single touring permit instead of treating Europe as a number of distinct blocks and countries. Obviously, in the UK, the bureaucratic difficulties that artists experience while touring in Europe are a significant discussion topic right now, because Brexit has erected a slew of new bureaucratic barriers that were not addressed by the UK's new trade pact with the EU. British governments have recognized that the additional bureaucratic barriers are a major issue for the UK music industry, and have stated that they will do all possible to reduce the detrimental impact of the new restrictions. The GetCat Pass program has four essential components, some of which would assist artists from all nations, while others would primarily benefit those who are not already based in EU or EEA countries. These key elements are a single travel permit for performers and crews across the region, a single customs license for equipment and a small amount of merchandise, a policy allowing unlimited stops for equipment and people involved in touring activity, possibly with limits on the number and size of vehicles, and a system in which VAT on merchandise sales is paid in the artist's home country. This sounds like a wonderful start to some solutions that obviously need a lot of change, and this with one of the big issues here is this number of stops that they're allowed to make within a country. I mean, this means that they would have to go back to the UK to go back in to the EU. It's like this. It's just doesn't make it worth it anymore.
Anything that helps our friends in the live sector get back on the road and back on the stage and back on tour again is definitely helpful, because this industry has just taken blow after blow after blow during the pandemic. So definitely let's hear more good news about getting folks back on the road, doing it safely and doing it legally and with ease of paperwork. I love a good I love a good shot of touring juice to help us all feel like we've had our live music OJ. It's awesome.
Touring juice, I love it. It's like the gas. And yeah, and if anybody has some comments that has any experience in that area, feel free to jump up on the stage. And I do see somebody has entered the stage. And Elliot, I saw you were in an international touring room earlier, so maybe this aligns with what you were listening or talking about earlier.
Um, I just popped in sort of at the end of that article. It just makes me keep having concerns about how little the rest of the world knows about what we do, and what goes on behind. They think they just show up at 8 o'clock and there's a show ready to go for them, and nobody really pays attention to the hundreds of people that are involved with making those shows happen. And hopefully this leads to more awareness, whether it be in government or whatever, that we're all behind the scenes, and just because you don't see us doesn't mean we're not there. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the big things that is also the challenge, and especially in the UK, going back to like December and January, they were begging the government, just supply us with cancellation insurance. That's all we ask for right now. I mean, there were a few other things, but the government was saying, well, prepare your festival just in case and be ready to go. And so if we give you the green light, then it's there. It's like, that's not how it works. That's not how any of it works. Festivals have to be rolled out. The trucks have to be on the road a month out. It's like you don't build a festival like you're throwing a house party on a Saturday night. And that was the thing why so many festivals, not just in the UK, but all in different areas around the world, eventually just canceled because they were complaining that the government wasn't giving them enough information, wasn't supporting them with cancellation insurance. They said, yeah, we'll go ahead with it. We'll start it up. We'll get everything rolling. Just allow us the opportunity to cancel without punishment and forcing us to go bankrupt. There was a Russian festival they shut the doors they shut it down 7 hours before doors or gates. And they were like hundreds of thousands of euros in debt because of that. So, these are the issues. And, knowing that you can't launch a festival overnight and get everything moving, it takes a while. All right.
As soon as a festival is over for the year, they start planning next year. Like, it takes the whole year to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. So. Well, let's we're going to stick for the UK for just another article here, and this is some good news. This is the MVT to receive £1 million national lottery funding to underwrite 300 shows in grassroots venues. The National Lottery will donate £1 million to the Charity Music Venue Trust this summer to assist supporting the touring and production costs of more than 300 live performances in an effort to revitalize the UK's grassroots live music sector. The Revive Live Tour will feature 20 tours and will continue from the summer to early October. Olivia Dean, Twin Atlantic, The Magic Game, and Futureheads will headline tours, while Sir Tom Jones, Rag and Bone Man, Mahalia, and a lot of others will do one-off gigs. MVT stated that up to 30,000 tickets, or almost half the capacity of the combined events, will be given to National Lottery participants, who will have the opportunity to attend every show for free. When they attend a concert, each ticket holder will be able to bring a +1 for free by displaying a bought National Lottery ticket or scratch card. Goes on to say that VT CEO Mark David said, "It's so vital to get artists and crew back out and working, to get our grassroots music venues back up and running, and to get friends, families, and communities back together enjoying live music." The National Lottery's Revive Live Tour tickets go on sale July 12th at 8 p.m. local time. We're going to stick one more on the say international. We're going to head over to Denmark, and this one is Danish festival giants join forces for comeback event. RocNation has partnered with nine of Denmark's largest festivals: Roskilde, Northside, Heartland, Copenhagen, Smukfest, Tinderbox, Jelling Music Festival, Nibe Festival, and Gurn, for a one-time event to commemorate the country's reopening. Back to Live will take place on Saturday, the 4th of September, and at Refshalin, a former industrial site in Copenhagen's harbor, just days after the country's current COVID-19 limitations are set to be repealed, allowing huge events to take place. The performance will also provide an opportunity for the festivals engaged to, quote, gain experience and collect empirical data on COVID initiatives in relation to organizing live events. And regard to organizing huge live events, according to organizations, 2 years without festivals have been hard for the entire music industry, and both the audience, artists, and organizers need to feel that the community. The statement continues, the one-day outdoor concert will begin at 2 p.m. and will feature performance by some of Denmark's biggest names in rock and hip-hop, including Dizzy, Miss Lizzy, Dad, Suspect, Tessa, and more to be revealed. The Back to Live tickets are now on sale for 545 kroner, or that's about 73 euros. Currently, 10,000 people are permitted to attend public events in Denmark thanks to the country's COVID-19 passport, Corona Pass, which certifies that the bearer has either tested negative for the coronavirus or is immune or vaccinated. With that, let's head over to some tech news. Instagram. It seems like every day Instagram's rolling out something new for us to keep us on our toes. Instagram tests allowing everyone to add links in stories. And people cheered. This is one of those, like, finally links for everyone. And according to The Verge, Instagram is discreetly developing a new stories feature that will allow all users to share links. These stickers will function similarly to a swipe up link, but with a tap rather than a swipe. People can also reply to articles that include a sticker, which they cannot do with swipe up stories. The test group for Instagram's new feature is said to be limited, and the firm has yet to specify a public rollout date. According to Vishal Shah, Instagram's head of product, it's largely to discover how users might use links. He goes on to say that the link stickers are the ultimate aim for Instagram, whether for everyone or just people who already have linking privileges. There are no plans to allow links with any photo or video captions in standard Instagram postings, which appear in the user's main feed. So, yeah, I mean, links, that's always been one of the issues with Instagram that people just complain. It's like, I can't put a link in. It would be, but you also know that it could be something, it could be abused. And it's also, Instagram likes to have people stay on Instagram. So they don't want people going elsewhere. And speaking of going elsewhere, we're going to go and talk about some Spotify stuff in just a second. And we're going to throw that over to Eli.
Big green dot, hits the spot.
That big green dot, it does hit the spot. It's time for the Spotify spot portion of our broadcast where we look at digital streaming and music technology. But first, we do want to take a look at your weather update. With so many of our listeners and viewers expecting flash floods in the next few days, we want to remind you to fix that hole where the rain gets in and stops your mind from wandering where it will go. Over to you, Peter, now for the Spotify spot.
Nice. Hey, when I was looking at the video, your video feed here, because I can see even if Eli's not on screen, still see the feed, and I saw that you were making a face before about with the Instagram. Was there something you wanted to contribute on that one?
I just wanted to say that I think it's interesting that Instagram is really being very aggressive in trying to keep users on their platform. There are a lot of new social media apps and platforms. There's Fireside, there's Clubhouse, there's Green Room. There are lots of options for people who want to be on any kind of a social media feed. But I was just chuckling because Instagram seems like they're being very aggressive about trying to keep their users on their platform. They're trying to adapt the services and features of their platform to appeal to users who might otherwise leave the platform and join another app or platform. So I was just chuckling at Instagram's what do you call that, stick-to-itiveness, their perseverance. Definitely they are tenacious in trying to keep their users on platform. That's the reason why I was chuckling.
Yeah, it's and the thing that it's all about advertising. They want to make sure that every third scroll or every second story is a sponsored ad, so you aren't going anywhere. And I just read a headline. I didn't dive in deeper, and I we'll bring it up for tomorrow. So a headline that was saying that TikTok is now more viewed than YouTube or something, or they're logging more or something. It's now becoming more viewed than YouTube in a certain way. And again, I just saw the headline. I haven't read it, but I was like, that is an interesting note that I'm going to find out more and get back to you tomorrow on.
And on that note, I just want to say that if you're a fan of piano jazz, Oscar Peterson Legacy is now on TikTok, and they have just joined. I saw that, and that gave me a smile, because now a lot of users on TikTok are going to be able to enjoy Oscar Peterson's music. So TikTok, here we go.
Well, did you see that Warner Chappell, well, speaking of legends, Warner Chappell also inked a publishing deal for the works of Cab Calloway? Acquisitions. Yeah, about legend. All right, so let's talk about Spotify here. This one's going to be a simple one here. And you can now listen to Spotify on your Apple Watch while offline. Downloads are here, and people rejoiced. Spotify Premium subscribers have been requesting offline playback functionality for the Apple Watch for a long time. The streaming service has announced that you may now download your favorite songs and playlists to take wherever you go. With the phone connection, all Spotify users can listen to music, albums, playlists, and podcasts on the Apple Watch. Spotify Premium subscribers, on the other hand, will be able to download whatever they're listening to for a phone-free experience. By pairing the Apple Watch with Spotify Connect, all users may control Spotify playback from any device. Only Spotify Premium subscribers can download music for offline listening. If you're on a free tier of Spotify, you'll need to upgrade to enjoy the feature. If you already have Spotify Premium subscriptions, here's a couple steps to get the songs for offline listening. You can use your Apple Watch to search for music or podcasts that you want to download, and then select download. You got to press those three dots, select download to Apple Watch. And users can also ask Siri to play their favorite songs and albums in order to listen to them all at once. Spotify claims the enhanced Apple Watch experience will be available globally in the coming weeks. Right on. I mean, that's great, especially for people that want to just don't want to have a switch and do everything on their phone. So this is this sounds much better than the car thing.
In name and otherwise, right?
Yeah. Right on. All right. What we are starting to do here, this is gonna open up for a roundtable, and one of the things that we're starting to do here is when we wrap up after the Spotify spot, we're going to be throwing out some kind of opinion or op-ed pieces, editorial pieces, thoughts, kind of new thoughts, and we encourage people to comment in the chat and how you doing. Oh, I see somebody just said, "Hey, what's up, everybody?" in the live video chat. How you doing? Also in Green Room and also on the website, you can join the chat there. And we're opening up for more conversational type articles to get your thoughts on things. And so we're trying this out. We're going to see how it goes. And yesterday we did one and got some great feedback already. So let's try this again today. What do you say, Eli? Want to do this?
Let's go.
All right. So this again, you can access this article from at musicindustrycity.com. You can click on the show notes and you can access all of the articles that we cover in today's news and throughout the week. You can also listen to our playlist. There's links to our Spotify monthly playlists that are created by the audience in our Good Day Music World room. And you also can see, links to our daily brief, which is our podcast. So every weekday morning around 8 a.m., you get 3 minutes, give us 3 minutes. We'll give you the headlines of the day. And that focuses a little bit more on new releases, tour updates, musical chairs, and cover some teasers for what we'll be discussing later here in the news. So you can you listen to that in the morning, and be like, oh, I'm ready for that later in the News Power Hour. So this thought piece is, this article is in Mixdown, and it starts off with the question: is the album concept dead in a music streaming landscape? So I'm going to paraphrase and pull out some key points here, and it says, in an industry where how we consume art determines how artists create music, since it directly affects their bottom line, the question begs to be asked: is the concept of an album dead? It's become increasingly customary in recent years for megastar artists with massive catalogs to sell off the rights to their songwriting and publishing for exorbitant sums. Selling a complete portfolio of songs, and we're talking Stevie Nicks, Neil Young, Bob Dylan levels of success and recognition here, appear to be the safe bet for musicians who've made a living off their music for years. Album sales aren't what they used to be because we all have access to vast catalogs of music in the palms of our hands, and streaming doesn't generate nearly as much revenue as album sales did previously. As income advances and budgets for 99% of artists begun to plummet, perhaps selling off old catalogs is a safer bet for an established artist. But clearly, the companies purchasing these rights are investing because they can continue to profit from it, despite streaming services paying a pittance to the owners of the music they charge the general public to access. Playlisting on streaming services such as Spotify and Apple Music is quickly becoming the new approach for musicians to gain widespread recognition. However, this is frequently due to a single song from a larger release getting featured in the playlist, or even a single being searched on a regular basis. Even the manner in which songs and singles are posted to and displayed on Spotify influences how we listen. Because income is from streaming services based on song plays rather than album plays, why release a whole album worth of material if only a few songs can provide all of your cash? Wouldn't it be more efficient to invest your time, energy, and money on a few truly great songs? Recording, mixing, and mastering have many costs involved. Engineers or producers are frequently freelancers with 10,000 hours of experience, so you'll be paying top bucks for their knowledge, expertise, and ability to transform your music into their greatest potential incarnation. So if recording is more expensive, surely you should maximize your time in the studio and record a few songs or an album all at once, right? So if you can maximize your recording time by producing an album and only pay for setup and pack up once, you'll come out ahead. Let's open this one up. Eli, I mean, you have any thoughts on this? I mean, this article, I mean, this conversation has been going on for years, almost a part of a decade now. And, going back, when I was running New Music Seminar with Tom, like we were putting together an albums versus singles panel in 2014. But the conversation is even more pertinent now due to you talk about these catalog acquisitions. So, and you look at, they always talk about the Katy Perry method, and it's like, I'm just going to roll out singles and then here's the album. So, what do you have any like initial thoughts? And again, anybody in the audience wants to come up on stage, offer up their thoughts.
Green room and to all of our viewers in the chat. And, there is so much to know on this topic. I just recently was reading a little bit about one of Lady Gaga's albums and realized that while it is chock full of hits, each one of those hits was workshopped as a single on social media and redone several times before the album came out. And so I know there are folks everyone has their own opinion on this particular subject, but it is a subject of hot debate. And I see that Devin has joined the stage. Hi, Devin. Did you have a thought you wanted to share with us about this headline?
Hey, Eli. Hey, Peter. Yeah, it's a crazy conversation, but it is interesting, and it is definitely something that everyone's dealing with. That's really interesting about Lady Gaga, and I don't put it by any of those larger artists that are doing that on such a crazy production kind of business level engineering of getting the music out there, which is kind of rapidly seeing what it's required to get things heard or seen or whatever these days. So it's definitely an interesting topic for me. I'm kind of doing it more in the jazz and improvised music kind of market, so it's even more fun to kind of play around with it. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think it kind of comes down to an artistic approach, like what type of artist is making what type of art, and then how they decide to deal with these business aspects after the fact, or before, well, in any stage, before, during, or after. For me, it's usually like, I like making records, but then you learned, oh yeah, you, instead of just releasing all the record to the streaming services, you just have to drip it in this, like one single, or just they're all singles, so I'll do a record of 10 tracks, one session or whatever, and then I'll chop it up into 10 tracks, and those are the releases. And then the full record is on Bandcamp, and all the streaming services have it whenever they get it, before the Bandcamp release, during the Bandcamp release, after the Bandcamp release. So it's really like, where are your fans? Where are the people that are supporting you the most? And trying to just kind of, shuffle those around to your advantage. That's kind of where I'm coming from with it. And it's interesting. I'm noticing the more I play with it, the more things are happening. So I think, it's a fun topic. I think everyone should treat it kind of like experimenting. It hurts a little bit when people are spending a ton of money on their products, which that's kind of the big problem. But for me, it's always kind of the experimenting of the music, but also of the releasing, and the technical sides of the music never ends, including all the publishing and everything else. And so I kind of treat it. I kind of try to take it like it's
Yeah.
like it's a fun little thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different areas that this definitely falls into the category one size certainly does not fit all in this. We're looking at it as, okay, I'm an artist. I'm releasing my first album, and it's like, usually a lot of people will cringe right away. It's like, you're releasing an album? That's your first release? Congratulations. First of all, congratulations for doing it. It's like somebody's like, EPs. Well, what are EPs? Then, so it's like, okay, well, I have an album. Do I want to just roll it out? It's like staged. And then say, here's some releases, here's some singles, test the market. Then you have more established artists that are, doing some small, shows. They have a smaller fan base. They are producing and they can maybe hire an engineer to mix. So they're not just completely DIY, doing everything themselves. Then you have the artists that are like, okay, we have, we're getting on 500 cap venues. So they're at that level and, what's good for them. The other things are, I mean, because there's so many moving parts here, and they talk about in the article is one is the recording. It's cheap. Is it cheaper to go in and just get entire 10 songs recorded in a few days than to load in and out and do it over the course of every few months to go record one or two songs. Now for a band that's one thing. For somebody that's doing electronic music, or if it's all in the computer, that's a different thing. You can do a lot of pre-production at home and you can just send the files off. Is it cheaper if to send the files off and say, hey, mix these three instead of just one every 3 months? And then mastering. Another thing is mastering. That is also some take into consideration, because mastering engineers, their role is also to make sure that all the songs are balanced for the album, so it sounds cohesive. And if you're rolling out singles, then you have somebody, a different master engineer or a mastering engineer is going to master it different, slightly different than for one song, and then 4 months later another song because they found a new plugin or they've gotten better, or they, it's things like that. There's so many variables. And then there's the marketing side, and some marketing people say like, oh, it doesn't cost any more to market a full album cycle as opposed to individual singles. Yeah, but you know something, if you are Lady Gaga, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's the marketing team and the label, the budgets, they're fine with that because they know there's a return. So is it something that marketing is single, or is that part of an album anywhere? You would say, here's going to be my three singles. So in the marketing budget, we're releasing the album and we're rolling out three singles post. That's the old way. It was, you had the single release tease leading up to an album. Then you had some more. You had the two others. You had the tour. Now you had that all in the marketing budget. So now it's like, hey, I just releasing singles and then we put the album together. I mean, I don't know how that works. I'm not. Does anybody have any, any more insight into that? Feel free to comment or jump up on the stage before we wrap up.
If, I mean, if I can jump in again, but please, anyone come save me. But I mean, for me, it's just like it's all about releases now, where it's like no one. I mean, obviously the platforms are kind of pushing us in that direction for the content creation of more, 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 which does make it harder depending on which types of statements artists are trying to make. But seemingly, like with Instagram posts all the time and all day and everything, kind of like the louder you yell, the more attention you get, the more frequently you're yelling. And like, so with singles, it's like they're just all, it's just every one of them is a release as an album as a single. So I mean, I think certain fans probably want to hear the whole cohesive thing, or if you put it on vinyl or something and you want it to be more, you know, contained into a statement. But I really think of it as like everyone's just kind of rolling with releases now, where, yeah, there's a new release every month, or like, I don't think people really care about the mastering engineer. It's like it's almost like the focus on the art and the music is almost higher again, because the attention on the final song, or the effect that the music is having is almost greater now. If it will get over, if it finds a place, if people resonate with what it is that that person is making. So that sense, I think it's cool.
I think Tasha also just came up to the stage. Tasha, was there something that you wanted to add on this?
Oh, sure. I add about the singles because I understand, Devin. I see that you are like a musician, a composer as well. So I can definitely see your side where you're saying the singles, like some people are just rolling out there with them. But I feel like if you put out enough singles to get your point across, so your next album can, it's kind of like a follow up on your album. Like the singles lead to, for me, the singles lead to the album or EP that I'm releasing. It's kind of like the bridge between your album and then you have your singles. Now it's kind of like the next thing coming is either an EP album or another single, but preferably I think 5 singles is enough. I don't know if people have like a limit on how many singles they do, but I really think 5 is enough because I feel like, okay, if I've heard 5 singles, and I hate sometimes when people put all 5 singles on the album with maybe like 5 or 6 new tracks, it's like, okay, as an artist, as a creator, I look at that like, okay, well, okay. But yeah, so Devin, I can understand your point. So yeah, I can see the art and single release, and there's I guess, a method to it, like a process or something, the way it's done. Because you can do it untasteful, and it doesn't like please you at all. But if you do it right, I feel like you get a good outcome of it. And I'm complete.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you know, someone said to me recently, like, how much do you really need to be putting out? I think the problem is just there's so much output from everything, from all the digital channels now, that everyone's kicking and screaming over trying to get people to pay attention, which is also fair. But the taste thing is also deep. I agree with you on that.
The other thing is also, and I really need to come up with a term for it, unless there is a term and I just haven't heard it yet. But the we're looking at multiple music industries, and we have the traditional industry, and that's always adapting and evolving. And then we have this content creator economy ecosystem, and you have these musicians that are just doing live streaming, and they're on Instagram or even Reddit live streaming or Twitch, and they're creating music, and they might be doing covers, and they're building a community and a fan base, and they have their economy, and they have 1,000 subscribers that are paying $4.99 to their channel, or 100 subscribers paying $4.99 a month to their channel. That's good stuff. Bits, tips, donations, things like that. And they entertain, and they are writing their music, and they're refining their music in real time with their audience and their fans. And then what they do is they say, "Hey, I'm going to launch it, and I made this video for it," because they know how to use Canva, and they can pay for the Canva Pro version, which is what, $100 and something a year, and they can make some cool graphics really quickly, and they can make videos, or they can use some other plugin or some other stock video platform, and they make a video, and they say, "Here's a teaser for it. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be launching this," and they learn how to upload, use DistroKid, and make sure everybody can use it on TikTok, and then they say, "Hey, everybody, come to my stream tomorrow. I have a big announcement," and then they go play their song on their stream and tell everybody to go to Spotify, and tell everybody to go to wherever it is and point them in Spotify, and they have their account, and they have one stream, they have one piece of music on there, and they have 10,000 plays in one day, and they've never released a song before in their life because they've built this community, and then they have that. So now they say, "I'm going to work on another song, and I'll get back to you. In the meantime, I'm going to entertain you, and we're going to communicate on this streaming economy." And then they put out another song. It's not even attached to an album anymore. And then they get, thousands of views, thousands of plays right away, and they build up from there. So, but it's also defining what you are considering your level of success. That to them is what they want to do. And they're making money, not necessarily on the stream, but they're making money on the music streaming platforms. They're making money on their community streaming platforms. So you have that ecosystem. So for them, it's just one-offs. It doesn't matter. But then the traditional industry, and they don't even think album. I mean, if you look, I mean, they don't even talk about an album. They're like, "I wrote a song, I released a song," and they put a lot of focus into it. And I think there is something to learn from both sides. There's always something to learn from both sides. You can take away, they could actually probably even do more just by taking some of the traditional industry side, but some of them are just anti-traditional industry. They don't want anything to do with anything. If they could, there are white label distribution companies out there where it's like, "Hey, I can have my own distribution label of my own and white label this." I mean, think about the fact that they're going to be able to control everything in the next few years, it is now, but it's for those who are advanced and taking care. They can actually control everything. They will have their own white label distribution system. So I can control everything. I can put everything on. I can put everything, my rights, everything on a blockchain. I can control my copyright. I can control my distribution. I control my royalties. I control my NFTs. I control my everything can be right into one. I mean, that's a totally different economy, and it's an ecosystem, but it's there. So they don't care about albums. Traditional industry, well, yeah, albums. It's because, especially more established artists, because contracts exist, and because contracts are a thing, albums are a thing.
Interesting.
Again, that's just me, just coming off the top of my head, but I just look at this other ecosystem.
I'm totally resonating with what you're saying, and yeah, I think it's, if anything, it's an interesting time where there's so much power with the technology that everyone can try to connect it with what it is that they hopefully want to do artistically, or what they're trying to say, their points that they're trying to make. I mean, that to me is like full freedom. I mean, the coming up with your own. Sorry, I'm walking out in New York. Yeah, I mean that's just powerful. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, and feel free. Anybody wants to come up or in the chat, and feel free to absolutely disagree with me or offer some other opinions. Love to hear it before we wrap up. And with that, Eli, let's check in with you. If you had any thoughts on this or final thoughts on the day as we start to wrap up.
I just think it's really interesting how this conversation has grown and morphed, not just over the last few years, but over generations. And I feel like this is something that artists are going to be talking about for a long time to come. And I really appreciate the space here to have this conversation and hear everybody's thoughts. Don't forget that you can chime in and share your thoughts with us by raising your hand or by chiming in the chat if you're joining us on our video stream. And if you're listening to today's broadcast and you'd like to be watching it, make sure that you visit our website where you can watch our live broadcast each day at 12 Eastern here in the Music News Power Hour. By visiting our website, you can join us on our video stream, follow along with our daily headlines, or register for more exciting content. Our website is musicindustrycity.com. Thanks so much for joining us today. We, once again, are the Music News Power Hour here at noon Eastern, each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. We hope you'll join us again. My name is Eli Wendow, and on behalf of my co-host Peter Schwing, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you again for more music news that you care to listen to and discuss right here at the Music News Power Hour from the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. Over to you, Peter.
Right on. Thanks for that. Yeah, and I just want to bring up one quick funny story, just going back singles versus albums and the debate we had at New Music Seminar years ago. I think it was 2014. Yeah, 2014 or 2015. And we hosted a debate panel. And it was Bill Werde, who was editor of Billboard at the time, and Bill's outspoken, as we all know, and he's got his own great opinions. Bill's fantastic. Love him. Always love hearing him speak and talk about it. And we also had Robert Christgau, and if everybody remembers the 70s and 80s, Village Voice and everything, I mean, Robert was the original Pitchfork Zero review. And so he's always very outspoken as well. We had a few bands. We had Jay Frank, may rest in peace. Jay was author of hits, not hit songs, something a hit song. I forgot. He was author, but he was all about singles, and he actually built his label around singles. And so we had this. We wanted to really this to be a spirited debate in the middle of the day at like 2 p.m. So while we're all in the green room, Tom Silverman walks in with a bottle of tequila and puts it on the table. They all start doing shots at 2 p.m. They go out and they didn't leave the bottle in the green room. They took the bottle to the stage and they just for 45 minutes continued to go. So it was a wonderful moment. I mean, it was a great discussion. It was very spirited. And then I remember at the end of it, it was like Bill Werde's like, and that's it. And Jay Frank jumps out off the stage and starts handing out shots of tequila to the audience. And it was just a great moment. And Jay is sorely missed in this industry. But this singles versus albums debate, it was heated and it was very interesting. So I just wanted to share that. And with that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in and joining us. We appreciate you, your time and everything, and hanging out with us. Tomorrow we will be back here at 12 p.m. Eastern. Also, don't forget our Good Day Music Room Music World Room at 11 a.m. And we could do the artist shout outs tomorrow. So we do we create a playlist based on the artist that you shout out. So if there's an artist that you're feeling, new or old, come in that Good Day Music World and shout it out, and we'll add it to our playlist. And to access all of that, you can go to musicindustrycity.com. Register for free because it's going to be free for just a little while longer, and you can get all that access. We're going to be rolling out a lot of great features. So if you register now, you'll be grandfathered or grandmothered in to what happens. So make sure you do that as soon as possible, and you're going to get access, and you're going to see a lot of great content coming out. So once again, thank you, Eli. It's great seeing you. Thanks you, everybody, Devin, Tasha, and Elliot, for joining the stage. And thank you, everybody, on our live video feed and over in Green Room. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Great to see you all. I wish you a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.